Priya is saying that yesterday she was talking to her in-laws and she made, in middle of a particular conversation, a statement rather strongly. She said, "I can't allow this stupidity to my child." And she says immediately there was a stop, a high chest. The topic was changed. And all this is making her wonder whether one can really know whether the I, the forceful I, is coming from understanding or ego. It's a very general question when you broaden its scope. What Priya is really wondering is whether it is ever possible to know the center of the action, whether it is ever possible to determine where your action is emanating from. Is it rising from the ego center, or is it rising from the true center? What will you do with this information, Priya? What will you do with this information? And that is a question that bugs many of you, right? How do I know whether what I am doing is right? How do I know that it is just not my ego playing games? How do I know that it is not just another trick of the self? Let's assume that you know. Somebody comes and tells you. What will you do with this information? Why do you need this information? Ask yourself. Because you do need this information, right? There is something within you that demands this information. Was it right? How can I be forceful in asserting myself? I'm not very sure that, this is my dharma at this point. That's the question you asked, Ramana. How do I know my dharma at a particular point in front of a particular person in a particular situation? How do I know what is the right action? What will you do with that? What will you do with this information? Why do you want this information? I am asking this. I am inviting you to explore. Why do you need this information? Why?
So at the surface level, because the similar things troubles me as well. So at the surface level, and it's obvious that by knowing whether I'm in that particular situation I'm operating from the false center or the true center, it's obvious that that knowledge will again strengthen the false center, because that will be a sort of information. But at a deeper level, it's something that is required because it's sort of a feedback in the journey that we are pursuing. That where do I stand? Am I operating right? So in the spiritual journey, it's sort of a feedback. Somebody comes and pats, you're doing fine.
Theoretically, yes. But is it not true that the very reason why you are not really immersed into any action, why you can't ever really assert yourself, why you are not ever passionate about anything that you do, and especially you are never passionate about rebelling, is that you are never too sure. One can go this way or that way. It doesn't matter when the stakes are small, right? You say, all right, it's a small thing, not worthy of too much consideration. Take any decision, take either decision, A or B, doesn't matter. But when it comes to the really important things in life, you need a particular certainty, right? And if you don't have that certainty, you cannot act. And that is the reason why in the most important matters of life, we do not act. We allow things to stagnate. We let the status quo persist. We are unable to move ahead and radically change the face of things. Right? Because we are not sure whether that is the right thing to do. It's like executing someone. The judge does not order the execution unless he is fully convinced. If there is even an iota of doubt, he gives the convict the benefit of the doubt. He says, for me to order somebody's execution, I have to be more than 100% sure. Only then. So whenever it's a question of something important, you need that inner surety, right? Otherwise you can't take important decisions. And because you are not sure, that is why important decisions do not get taken. Yes, you decide whether to order it from Domino's or Pizza Hut. That kind of decisions you can take. You decide whether to cook peas or potatoes for dinner. Those kinds of decisions you keep taking. But when it comes to the really important things in life, you cannot take a decision. You just allow things to drift. Right? You wait for situations to take the decision on your behalf. Is that not so? Are you able to take a stand and execute? Are you able to do that? No. You just keep postponing because that certainty is not there. Right? Is that certainty a thing of thought? Is that certainty that something that you get after thinking the entire night? You brood over it the entire night, smoking an entire pack of cigarettes, or maybe 5 packs. Thinking as intensely as your brain cells allow. Would you still ever get that certainty? Yes, if there is a deadline, you can force yourself to take a decision. But that would be a forced decision, right? It would not come out of your certainty. It would come out of your compulsion. By morning 6 a.m., there was a deadline to decide. So after staying awake the entire night, you ultimately took some decision under compulsion. But that is not smoothly integrated with your life. That is not arising forcefully, organically out of your being. You will be suspicious. And if things go wrong, you won't take a moment in saying, oh, I always knew it would go wrong. I was never so sure. And then you'll find ways to complain and grudge and do this and do that. Is that not so? Now look at the whole mechanics of it. When you want to be sure, we know we are not sure, right? That is obvious. When we look at our life, it is obvious that we are never sure about anything. Are you ever sure about anything? Are you? If today somehow physics can prove that the earth is flat, you'd be agreeable, won't you be? Yes?
Yes, sir.
If today somehow news and information can prove to you that your husband or wife is not loyal to you, you would accept it. Or you would at least be suspicious. Is that not so? Is there anything beyond doubt in your mind? You might be a great worshipper of some deity or god. You might be worshipping Allah 5 times a day. You might say that I am so surrendered to my Guru. But if a forceful argument is presented to you, along with proofs, you would become doubtful. Atheists become doubtful whether God really does not exist. There are moments when every atheist becomes suspicious that there is something called God. And there are even more moments when the most pious man, full of pity and religiousness, becomes sure that God does not exist. Your son of 25 years age your entire affection towards him can be shaken, provided somebody can conjure up the right kind of information and suitable proofs. The entire relationship will be shaken up. It may even collapse. Is that not so? There is nothing untouchable in our being. Everything is open to doubt. Everything is open to suspicion. So we need that certainty. We are always in search of that certainty. Let there be something certain about this entire game. It feels bad, right? To not to know anything, to not to have any anchor that is beyond doubt. Is that not so? So we need that certainty. How to get that certainty? What is the method that you employ to get that certainty? What is the method that you use to get that certainty?
Reading.
Yeah, some mental method. You either think more, or you collect more proofs, you collect information. Reading is a method of collecting information. You analyze more, you ask experts, you Google, you start depending on experience. Alright, if he has not ditched me for 3 years, probably he will not ditch me for the next 30. That kind of a statement you make, right? We should give sufficient time to our courtship. As if 9 months of courtship can stand the test of entire life. After employing each of these methods, are you still sure? Are you still sure? Are you still sure? When every method is inconclusive, then what do you get after using 100 inconclusive methods? You get 100 inconclusions. And will 100 inconclusions make the matter more conclusive or even less conclusive? You apply some test and 100 times you get the same output. Test not conclusive, test not conclusive. Will that bring you to a solid conclusion? Is there any test that you have that can ever give you this conclusion? Test fully conclusive. Matter proved. You will never be able to be sure because you think that thinking and analyzing can bring you to surety. Brooding over your action, Priya, will never let you know whether the I came from the true center or the false center. In fact, it is just to please yourself and feel good about yourself, to take a kind of sanction from your own ego that you want to label your action as right or wrong. So I did something and now what am I doing? I am pondering over it. By pondering over it, I will be able to apply the label of right action over it. And so what am I doing? Pleasing the ego. I do not know from where your action came, but I surely know who is being pleased right now. I surely know who is demanding to know whether the action was right or wrong. Let me assure you of something. After the action, after the moment, whenever you will think of it, brood and ruminate, all you will get is doubt. It is foolish. Just a foolish demand of the ego to remain sanctioned and nice in its own eyes. What I did was right. And how do I know what I did was right? After doing what I did, I thought for 2 hours. And then I came to the conclusion that what I did was right. Wonderful. Very intelligent. Please understand, whatever you did, there was no way of doing anything else. We have repeated that many times. Whatever you did, there was no way of doing anything else. Observation is not the same as analysis. Observation is very, very subtle, and analysis is very gross. Never come up with a statement like this: sir, did I do the right thing or the wrong thing? Just know what you did, and that's it. And that knowing, remember, is not memory, is not analysis, it is a particular presence. While the action is happening, remain present. And Priya, you can, even through that presence, never apply the label of right or wrong to that action. Yes, the action happened in presence. Now whether right or wrong, what benchmark to apply, what standard to apply, there are no benchmarks. Yes, this happened, right? Full stop. Later on, never think about it. As I am speaking to you, do you think I'll go back and spend the night wondering whether what I said came from the right center? I'll go mad if I start doing that. Three hours of speaking and 30 hours of useless inner deliberation. Could I have said something a little differently? A better phrase? A more incisive metaphor? more intimate body language? Did I leave a precious question? Did I take up a useless question? Do you think I can survive if I start a post-mortem of the happening? Don't keep an eye over yourself. That is not the same as observation. Observation does not mean that you become your own conscience keeper. Self-observation does not mean that all the time you are keeping a vigil over yourself. Yes, Shubhankar, now what you are doing? Priya, this is not right. Consciousness is not the same as conscientiousness. Consciousness is a very, very, very delicate thing. And your conscience is just a collection of the same things that make up your ego, coming from the same source. This and that, here and there. Don't analyze, don't repent, don't ruminate. Be simple. And be forcefully. I hope you are not saying that this means that whatever we do is right, hence there is no need to introspect. Yes, I am saying there is no need to introspect. But I am not saying that there is no need to introspect because whatever you are doing is right. I am saying there is no need to ponder over the happening because what is happening has no alternative. The only alternative that ever exists to you is in this tiniest of seconds. And what are you investing this tiniest of second doing? A post-mortem examination, of which nothing can be done now, of which nothing can be known now, because you are not the same mind that committed the action. Are you the same mind? If you are not the same mind, how will you ever know what happened? The man who did that is dead. Whom would you ask? There was a robbery, or somebody slapped someone, or somebody came and did something, and the one who did all this is gone. Now whom would you ask? Whom would you ask? And what has been done cannot be undone. And who did this is no more there. So what are you doing? Setting up the entire court? A sham trial in which there is no witness, no convict, just two idiotic lawyers and you as the judge? Think of the stupidity. Such a sham court. And in setting up all this, you are losing on the precious present. Never be bothered whether your action will turn out right or wrong. Never let that doubt arrest the force of action, the flow of action. Do not call that humility or prudence. It is not. Get rid of this conventional wisdom that one should never go to the extreme. One should always be a little moderate about everything. Only those are moderate who do not know whether to go left or right. So they ultimately keep standing. With your full energy, go in whichever direction you deem best. Never let this question come to you, what if this is the wrong direction? There is no right direction. You can only do what you can do. Or can you do something else? Being what you are, whatever is the best that you can do, do it. And don't hold yourself back. Don't say that I will give my 100% when I am 100% sure. I am assuring you, you will never be 100% sure, because the means that you apply to test this sureness is a false means. You use the means of thought and mental analysis. That means will never say that the result is conclusive. It will always say test inconclusive. Will you understand this? Thought can never bring you to any conclusion. Never. Keep thinking whether you love somebody. Will you be assured? Will you be assured? Life is not a maths problem. Never ask yourself, is this the absolutely right thing? There are no absolutes. Being what you are, with the deepest devotion that is possible to you. Remember, absolute devotion will not be possible to you. Why? Because you are Anshu. Is absolute devotion possible to Anshu? Is clear simplicity possible to Abhishek? Is it? So should they not act at all? Because Abhishek is not 100% simple and Anshu is not 100% devoted. So should they not act at all? You have to act with all your energy in whichever state you are. It's like going to a temple and saying that whatever I am, clean or unclean, simple or cunning, devoted or doubtful, I have brought this to you. And even in bringing this, there would be surely some game of the ego. But, sir, this is the best that I can do. Now you take care of things. Or will the patient go to the doctor after being fully cured? Will you say that? That, sir, I will come on to you only when I am absolutely godlike. Will you say that? But the ego loves that argument. How can I go and sit in front of sir I am so unclean. Nice. What will I do by attending the camp? Ultimately, I have to return to the same household. Nice. Recently in a college, we got these midterm forms filled. What is the point in learning all these things that you are telling me? I have to live among the same folks. So I'll come to the temple when I am Krishna. I'll go to the doctor when I am in the pink of health. Great. I'll have food when I am totally full. I'll take bath when I am sparkling clean. I'll cut my nails when there are no nails to cut. I'll shave when there is not even a stubble. You are so intelligent. You have to move, Priya, with all your imperfections. Don't ask, how do I know, sir, whether my action came from the perfect center? Let it come from wherever it came. You keep moving. With all your dirt, with all your doubt, with all your imperfection, keep moving. Don't make this an excuse that I didn't go, I didn't come, I didn't act because I was not sure. You will never be sure. You proceed with your doubts, and that is called faith. I have those doubts, but I have something more important than doubt. Not that I don't have doubts. I have deep doubts. Yet I am coming. I'm coming your way. Not that I am fully convinced. There is something within me that keeps raising its prickly head. There is that ugly voice which keeps doubting and disputing time and again. Yet I am coming. And I am coming as fast as possible. I am doing the best that is possible. And the best that is possible to me cannot be perfect. Because who am I? Imperfection personified. So how can perfection be possible to me? No. I know I am imperfect. Yet when the perfect calls, I will go. So the temple is calling. I won't say that let me first take a bath. When Krishna calls, I will go as I am. Dirty, unclean. But he is calling. How can I not go? How can I wait? Or can I wait? Are you getting it? Never make this an excuse that I am not yet ready. You are always ready. And you will never be ready. Will you ever be perfectly ready? Then when will you come? When exactly will you come? Will you ever be sure? Then when will you act? When do you hope to act? Will you ever be totally free of your responsibilities? When do you hope to come then? It is in the middle of all this maze. It is in the middle of all your chains and fetters and preoccupations that you have to move. Or will the fat man say that I'll run on the treadmill only after losing 50 kilograms? It is with all the load and garbage that you are carrying that you have to run on the treadmill. Run with all your fat. Getting it? Come as you are. Don't wait for perfection. Don't wait for the right time. Don't wait for a golden opportunity. Don't wait for a slice of luck. This is the right moment. The door is exactly where you are standing. Come as you are. Come even if you are not sure. Come with all your doubts and indecision. Getting it? You'll never be ripe. You are ripe the moment you say, I am coming. That is the moment of ripeness. That is the only ripeness. So don't wait for the fruit to become ripe.
So in context of the last question, so the thing, the present situation is such that we have heard so much about and we have listened and we have also read things. So what has happened is that an ideal image has got formed in the mind, okay, and whatever I do or whatever we do happens in vis-a-vis that ideal. So all the time, so the question that ma'am raised, whether I did what I did correctly or not, so this always happens in contrast to that ideal that we have in our mind of a spiritual man, or say of you or of somebody, okay, and it has some certain characteristics. So whatever happens vis-a-vis that ideal that we have in our mind. And because of this, what happens is that we are not able to embrace and acknowledge what I am now. The movement never happens from that particular point.
Yes.
So this is like the root problem.
Yes.
And this is the problem which also brings in self-hatred, self-pity.
Yes.
Because that ideal is always there.
Yes. So do you see that the same people whom you idolize are the cause of your suffering?
No, but that is also, this is okay, by this argument you can easily, but that is also real. Like the image that you have in your mind and the craving that you have to become that image. That is real. Those people are those people are good beings. Like, you can't simply say कि वो लोग नहीं ऐसा नहीं है तुम खुद को. You are that.
The question is not whether they are good. The question is there an option in front of them, and do you have an option in front of you? You're not getting it. Could that man have been something else? Could you have been something else?
Yes, in the way that you're saying that that particular person has his or her own context, own history, own cause and effect relation. I have mine. So when I'm asking myself, could I have been somebody else? And the answer is no. But I also see that yes, I could have been. There were instances where
if you would have been something else, then you wouldn't have been you. Who is Anshu? Somebody sitting here with a particular thought in his mind, wearing a particular shirt, with a particular expression on his face. If Anshu is even a little different, would he be sitting here with this shirt and this expression on his face? So can you be somebody else? That somebody else would be Somebody else, not you. You don't see that, right?
So
We fail to see that. So that is it. There is no so to it. This is what Buddha calls as tathata. This is it. Now there is no question of image formation, because every image is just here. It is not. And the moment you see that nothing else is possible, something happens. We never accept that something else is impossible, right? We are very hopeful beings. We keep hoping, and hope helps us bear our pain. We hope that things will be better off someday. Maybe next year I will go to the camp. So that reduces the pain of missing it this time. My folks are rotten, but maybe one day they will improve. So that helps me carry the garbage today. Yes, he is rotten or she is rotten, but maybe one day the sun will rise from under a well. This is it. This is your life. No hope, no future. This is it. Anshu Sharma, this is what you are. And there is no alternative. There is nothing else. This, directly this. Forget about all your ideals and this and that. Being what you are, you can't even know who they are. You'll only have glorious or damning images about them. This is it. Now proceed. This ruins your world, right? Because your world has very little space for facts. Your world is composed almost entirely of fancies. Remove the fancies and your world collapses. Remove the fancies. Look at the bare, ugly fact. Look at how you feel the entire day. Look at how you are overtaken, overpowered by boredom and dullness. Look at how you really feel when you look at the faces of those you call as your loved ones. No, don't fantasize. Don't give it a name. Don't hide it under the cover of a relationship that I might hate her, but she is my loving wife. Yes, we both hate each other, but we are a loving couple. Don't give it a charming name. Just look at the bare fact.
Sir, is it that jumping to the conclusion is because, or the tendency for looking, tendency to look ready-made answers is because I do not want to be attentive or being aware all the time or to be present.
It hurts. It hurts very badly. So let me be better lost in some kind of fantasy. What will you look at when you will look? What will you see? You'll only see the dirtiness of ego. You'll only see some kind of a ruin. So standing atop the ruin, you want to look at the stars and say fantastic. You don't want to see what is under your feet. Ruins.
Now sir, in this context, do I need to learn how to be attentive or to increase the movement of attention so that I can observe myself?
Do I really need to learn what is my situation? Am I not living it? Are you not living that spasm? Are you not living those pangs? Those inner convulsions? Are you not living them? What do you want to learn about them? Don't you already know?
But the very old pattern and deep, though can say habit of what, it makes or what I feel that I'm lost most of the time. So the movement of awareness are very less, and most of the time it is dominated by it.
You see, whenever you are not aware, you imply that you have gone off to a long walk somewhere else. It is not possible to take a long walk without first being dissatisfied with your position. This argument that I do not know my position because I am taking a long walk is untenable. The long walk has started in the first place because you do not like your position. So you deeply do know your position. That is the reason why you are on that walk. You don't need to learn, you know.
Exactly, you know that there is rubbish down your feet. That's the reason you're looking at the stars.
At the stars, exactly. Now, for a moment, can you push the stars out of your mind and just be there with the rubbish? It is demanding and it is cruel in a way. It hurts, it badly hurts. But can you have the courage to take that hurt? For once, can you totally shun hope? I mean, what can happen? At most, you will break down. So break down. What will break down? Your ugly structure will break down. Let it break down. Let it break down. You will cry. You'll cry madly. Cry. And it is not necessary that any of this may happen. It may not be as bad as you think. Take it, let it come. It is futile, discussing, Anshu, what happened first? The dissatisfaction with your present condition or the glamorous attraction of the ideal? What happened first? They both actually happened together. Their root is not really contained in time. It is a very, very primitive illusion. More primitive than time. But what is certain is that they are related. This dissatisfaction and the long walk. This unease at looking at myself and this fascination at becoming somebody else. Or having a hope that I will become. Or having a hope that somebody else will become something. To live without hope requires courage, requires the guts to say that this is where I am and I do not know anything else, but this is for sure a fact. This is it. And anything else that I say about it will just be some kind of story. It will be very glamourless. You know, when you say dreams, it is quite alluring. Dreams. And when you say facts, it is so depressing. In a particular movie theater, there they had this thing written that real life is real life. Yeah, it's a particular hall somewhere in Noida. So, real life is real, more real than this. Live with this, face this, it's okay.